Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Oak Tree.
I'm Griff.
I'm Baka.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, now we're all back from vacations and stuff. No,
That's not a good thing.
Vacations.
Let's go again. Someone hit repeat on that, please.
Oh man. And then I figured it was like, okay, well, we'll come back and there'll be like 2 or 3 weeks worth of stuff to discuss and all of these things to talk about. That's not true.
I mean, there's been a
That's not true
couple
at all.
shows, but it was kind of stuff we expected to be
Yeah,
announced.
like there hasn't been anything that's like, oh, you what? No.
I think the one thing is the Breath of the Wild the sequel now has a name of its own.
The breath. What is
Yeah,
it? The
but
Tears of
Tears-
Wind?
It's either Tears of the Kingdom or Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know which way it's
It's
supposed to be.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
They actually had to come out and clarify that for the record. It is Tears of the
To
Kingdom.
be fair, it could go either direction because of the spelling. Yay,
Yeah,
English.
I get it. Welcome to English. We're bad. It's Tears.
I can hear
of
our
the
child
kingdom.
now going, it crying. It crying.
It crying. Yes, buddy. It is crying.
Well, I mean, other than that, there just wasn't anything, like, super spectacular. And I was like, well, I should probably think of something for a discussion. And then I was like, why, though? We have plenty of things to discuss because Microsoft and Sony hate each other so much. So,
I will say
there's our
that
discussion.
I don't know when it was. I think it was recently, but the leaks for GTA 6. Holy shit. Rockstar is like fucking destroyed by it because they've like leaked so many clips. They've lost their source code. Like somebody is basically internally has released the entire GTA 6 source code and has leaked everything around the game.
It's
Like,
supposed to be Vice City, right? Like, we're going
Yeah.
back to Vice City, which is weird, I guess, but...
Why is
We've
it
gone
weird?
back-
Before went to back to Liberty City.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess I
5
kind
went
of
to
thought...
San Andreas.
Yeah, I guess I kind of thought they were going to break away and do something completely different, but then again,
The-
why
I was
would
gonna say
you when
they
you
keep-
had success with these?
Yeah, I was gonna say they keep going
I-
back to the previous cities.
I want to be excited about it. I just really hate the way that Rockstar does business. Like, they make fantastic games, but they're like, here's your fantastic single player. It will never have additions to the single player. It is the story that you get at the beginning, and that is it. It will have multiplayer. We will not moderate that multiplayer. If that multiplayer fails, we will give it the middle finger and walk away like we did with Red Dead. Like,
It's because they
what is wrong with you, Rockstar?
They fell into the thing where they started, like, all the shareholders and the board started seeing how much money GTA 5 was making, and it's like, why
To
should
do
we,
that and only
why
that.
should we invest in anything else when we were like literally making hand over fist profit for nothing
Yeah.
constantly? We're still selling GTA 5s like they're brand new, and the game is fucking 10 years old.
It's more than
They're making so
Part
much
of
money
that
off the
is
loan
also
sharks.
because with GTA 5, yeah, there are cheaters and stuff in it, but they're more vigilant in comparison to Red Dead about banning them for
But it's
things
because
like
with GTA 5, doesn't it? It's not like an IP ban. It's like a key ban. So they ban you, and you go buy a new copy of the game, and you can keep playing.
yep.
See, that's why they do it, and that's why they're still selling. Oh no, I got in trouble for doing a bad thing. Let me spend
And then they're
another
taking that-
$60.
And then they're taking that money to moderate what it is to be able to continue to do it. Where instead of taking some of the money they're making from GTA and using that to subsidize the problems they were having over at Red Dead, they just go, nope, no more Red Dead.
And then
Y'all are
they're
just
like,
coming
well,
over to
Red Dead's
GTA."
not making us any money because nobody's playing it. Nobody's playing it because nobody can play it except for the cheaters because you're not moderating it. Do you see how this is a cyclic problem here? Like, you have to fix things for it to be a profitable
we added
item.
in a patch to give you tumbleweeds so you know you're alone.
It's like that new game that came out. I forgot what it was. I think Oak played it a little bit. It was the big armor one, God's Fallen, God's Legacy, something. It came out earlier this year. Fuck. Let's see if I can figure out what it is.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but there are so many games with the similar wording
Yeah.
that...
God's Fallen or something. I'll find it in a second. But basically, it was similar to. Damn it! What was that other 3-player game that Oak played last year that came out, and they were trying to make it profitable, but it fell through and didn't.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about from last year, the 3-player one.
The 3-player third-person shooter one where it had pretty good RPG aspects. But the end game, the end game fell off, and there was no like proper gameplay loop to keep people playing throughout the end.
Outsiders, is that it?
Yes, I think it was Outsiders.
Yeah.
Or Outstriders?
Outsiders, I think.
Yeah. Something like that.
Not to be confused with Outriders. Why are all the names for the game similar?
I know, right? Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 2 Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 2.
Something
Call of
like
Duty
that.
Modern Warfare
I don't
2.
know. It
Something
got
like
weird.
They're like naming them the same thing over and over again. I don't know.
Maybe that's something Microsoft will stop.
Movies were doing that as well for a while. So
Babylon's Fall?
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I didn't play Babylon Fall though.
Okay. Babylon's, yeah, that one came out earlier this year, and they were, trying to build it to have an empire so that they could, market it properly and have people play, and it just fell through too.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's weird because a lot of these, I guess this is going to be the discussion. A lot of these companies try to build these games that they're thinking longevity, and it's like, but you're thinking too big that you're not really creating a good enough foundation for people to really sink their teeth into.
You're trying to figure out what you're going to do 2 years from now when you've got to get people to play that long to start with.
Yeah,
and I agree with that. I think part of the issue you run into, and I'm going to use Sea of Thieves for an example of this because all this is games of service is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And with Sea of Thieves, for those of us that enjoyed playing the beginning of Sea of Thieves, there was a group of people that didn't enjoy it because there wasn't enough content for them. And I think that's the problem you're dealing with when you're dealing with these others. The difference is because it's a live world, the way that Sea of Thieves is set up, people continue to go back into it. Mm-hmm. And as they built and did more stuff, it still exists, right? People are still going in and playing the game. And then on top of that, Rare has kind of learned from the issues that they've had in the past and created more content to build. At some point, they're going to have to create either a second Sea of Thieves or revamp it in some way or expand the world in some way, whatever they need to do.
Add places to the map.
Yeah.
It feels like it's also getting like real, I don't know the term for it, like filled stock. Like there's just so much in it now. But, like, I mean, it's almost like there's something going on everywhere. Something popping up doesn't feel special. Because you remember way back early, you see a skull in the sky and you're like, holy shit.
Oh my God, over there.
Now you're like, there's 3 skulls in the sky, a red skull, a giant ship, some flowers, and then 3 galleons. It's like, okay, there's just a lot of shit.
There's a lot of shit. Normally there's only 2 things in the sky at a time, but I understand what you're pointing
out. Look, a kraken.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Kraken and Megalodon.
We don't mention that. We never talk about Karen, okay? But I think they were able to survive the lack of stuff there because of the style of game it is. Where if you're dealing with a plot-pointed game, which is, we'll use Outsiders or Outriders or whatever the hell the name of the game is. Out something.
Yes.
Whatever the name, I mean, the way that game is set up is you're creating a character that fights in a particular style, and your friends can do the same thing, and then you fight through the world.
It was Outriders.
It was Outriders?
Oh, was it?
Okay.
It was Outriders.
Look, she was right. All right. But as you continue through the game, and you hit that end spot, there was nothing else to do inside the game other than just grind and create and build your character up. But it didn't take long to build your character to start with. So there was no reason to do that. And then they've expanded on top of the game a little bit, and people went and played it for 10 minutes basically and said, okay, I'm done, and left again. Because the gameplay was really good. The guns felt really good. The storyline wasn't bad. Like it was enough to keep you enthralled in what was happening.
I mean, that's pretty much the same as Anthem. That's what happened with them too. It's like, oh, this is a games as a service. Okay, but now you've run through the main storyline. You can only have 4 people in an open world area at a time, and what do you want me to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything about it feels good. The combat's slick. The movement is really nice. You know, all of this stuff is really well done. But what do you want me to do with these tools that you've given me? You've kind of given me the great tools, but nothing to build with it.
You have to look at, like, you want to compare Anthem to Sea of Thieves. It's like they both did the gameplay part super duper well.
Mhm.
Like, 'cause Sea of Thieves, incredible ocean, like movement, everything was great, and it was such an ungodly simple loop too. Drop quest, go to island, pick up treasure, return treasure, simple. And Anthem had the linear chain, you do the dungeons, but once you hit that end, the gameplay loop was gone.
Yeah.
Like, it got really stagnant. The world was empty. All you had to do was allow multiple parties of people out in the world and to do more random events to kind of keep the world alive.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you hit that end game, you're just like, shit, it's real quiet out here now.
Well, I mean, it was real
there's
quiet
not
out
much
there
to
the whole
do.
time. It's like, here's a camp with 5 people, here's a camp with 10 people. You know they're always going to be there, so once you mow them down, you go to the other camp, you can come back to this one. Like, what do you want me to do in this game? I've played your 8-hour story, storyline. What now?
Which is
Well,
why the loop
but
would have been so important. Have portals open up on those camps. Change the way that you interact with those camps each time. And that's why Sea of Thieves was good. Like, yeah, you go to the different islands, but it's going to be different treasure each time. You're looking for something
Or different kinds of zombies, or like skeletons. Like, these are the regular skeletons. And then they started adding the special ones where it's like, these are the ones you have to throw water on. These ones pop out of the ground with explosive barrels. Like,
Yeah, like, it's...
they added variety and flavor.
Yes, and that was important, especially
And now
at the
you have
beginning
the
where it
sea
was simple.
creatures and stuff like that they've
Yeah.
added over time.
Exactly. Like, they've only, like, massively improved the game. Like, it doesn't feel like they've ever, like, stepped back. They've just made it better.
But I think that's what all of the games that want to be, or publishers that want to make games as a service have to really think about is, yes, I want longevity, but I have to think about what's going to happen in the first year of my game's life, not what do I do 2 years down the road. How do I make sure people are playing 2 years down the road?
Hell, I would venture
Your
to say half that
gameplay
time.
loop.
I think within
Yeah.
the first 6 months, you need to have
Yes.
you need to be building in the first 6 months. Like right now, if you think of multiplayer games, they have seasons, so they can sell whatever their battle pack is, right? Well, with a game, the game service, you have to be able to keep them in the game. So the first 6 months or first 4 months of the game, you need to be building to something, and then that builds to something else. Because if you've got to keep them there, why am I here?
Yeah.
And which I
Yes.
think is why you have seasons in Sea of Thieves now, to where, and then we've got this ongoing plot point every 2 weeks that they just keep adding to it. So, and I log in just to find out what's happening. That's it. That's the only reason I go in to play the game, is I want to find out what's happening in the world and where it's moving to. Because I enjoyed that world, and I enjoyed, the lore behind it and everything. And it's nice to get back into it and enjoy being on the sea. I think that, but everybody needs that feeling. They need to be able to go back into it. I think, similar to the way you all have gone back to classic, you've gone back and, there's nostalgia that's there.
Oh,
Did we lose Oak? Or did we lose me? We lost me. Keep going. Continue
Oak.
your thought.
please
All
continue
right, so there's a nostalgia that's there for you when you're going back to World of Warcraft, and you're able to play through certain things. But at some point, the same reason you don't play retail anymore is because they did the opposite of what Sea of Thieves is doing. They made the game worse, not better, because of how long it was. They should have ended the game however many expansions ago and created a new version, done something to be able to push forward. And these games can't even get the first 4 months. That's what they have to do. They've got to go the first 4 to 6 months, push and push again and push again. And then once you have more in your world, then you can create and your longevity you're looking for. But that first year is extremely crucial. But the first 4 months is gonna be live or die.
I
Oh,
100%
yes.
agree with that.
it's the gameplay loop. Like, to break it all the way down to the base of it, it is the gameplay loop that is, if you want long term, that is the most pinnacle. You can do it, like, gameplay loop does not matter at all when you do like story based games or things like that, because you're not looking to have people to play it over and over and over again. You want them to buy your game, experience your vision, your show, or whatever your story is, and that's
And then
fine.
maybe buy some DLC.
Right, and
Right.
you're good. You're sold. You're happy with it. And I think the problem is that some of these companies are getting that gameplay loop necessity in with their story necessities, and it's like Assassin's Creed is a perfect example. You fucking packed it way too much, and you created this ridiculously huge hamster wheel that just feels unfun to play. Like
Yeah.
you feel like you're really not getting anywhere. You complete like 70 something missions over here and you've barely scratched the damn map. It's like, oh my god. There's just too much to do.
There's
Games
too
like
much bloat.
Phasmo. Yeah, games like Phasmo do it perfectly. The gameplay loop is simple, it's mission based, go in, do your objective, come back out, you're done.
Yep. And now
Same
with
thing-
the update that we're going to get in 2 weeks, it'll have like a randomized button, which refreshes things because it's like adding a difficulty curve, but it's not a difficulty curve. You have your own
It's a
specific
complete
thing, but it's like,
randomized curve.
yeah, it's like, oh, okay, well, this time I hit the randomized button and I'm the only one in the party with a flashlight. So, and things like
Yeah.
that. Like, it just adds a little extra spice to keep the game new, fresh.
Well, it
Yeah,
changes
so
more than
basically,
just that, too.
what
It can-
we already do, but just built into the game.
Oh, it does so much more than that. It changes your run speed, how long you can sprint. It changes how the ghosts hear you, how many pieces of evidence you get. Like, it changes every base aspect of the game in its entirety. So you never know. You could end up with, if you click randomize, you could end up with a round that you couldn't run in. You'd be like, oh
do you all
shit,
feel, because you've been playing that game for a minute, do you feel like
a minute.
a
300
minute?
hours.
So with that game, do you feel a little OP when you go into certain situations?
No,
No.
because
Okay.
you can still have with that one, because everything is randomized except for like locations of the curse items. It's something like what we were doing one of our own little challenge modes where it's called safari mode, so everybody or 3 people have a camera and that's it, and the other person has a candle and is like the safari leader, and you only get items if you take a picture of something that happens.
Then you get a random item.
Well, we found the ghost room. It was a bathroom. It's not very large. There's 4 of us in there with a candle. And the ghost spawned up, and 3 out of the 4 of us thought that it was a ghost event. The 4th one was chicken and knew that it was a hunt. So he just ran into it and took it so we could all live. But I mean, like, did we expect that this ghost was going to spawn up on the floor and eat our friend in the bathroom before we had actually done any investigating? No, we did not. So,
Like, the way the ghost acts is just wildly varied. Sometimes
Right.
you will get ghosts that'll be like, boo.
yeah, I got better
Boo.
things to do. Here's your,
And then other
your
times you
jump
walk into
scare.
the house and they just instantly start throwing plates at your ass.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you come at me, and they just start spawning and just fucking with your sanity. And then before you know it, as soon as the timer's off, they're just hunting you instantly. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, fuck.
But it's not like you
Goddamn.
can tell when that's going to happen and when it's not. It's not like you're like, all right, I'm going to Edgefield because Edgefield Street House ghosts are always angry. Like, it's always different. Which
You
is
don't know where
part of
you
why
can
we
hide.
can play that game for so long.
You don't know
That's
where you
good,
can
though.
hide. You don't know anything. It's wild.
Yes.
Well, and I think that that's what he's done really well, because that wasn't something at the beginning. At the beginning, you kind of knew.
Yeah, all of
Based
these will be
on-
open. All these closets are open, and all
Mm-hmm.
this stuff. But yeah, he's definitely like the developer of that game. Now that he's got his little bitty team that he's got too, and I say little bitty because it's like 5 people, I think.
It's 4.
Is it 4? Yeah, they have worked really hard to keep life in that game. And even though it is kind of procedurally generated, which means that it kind of has its own life there, they've made sure they've maintained it. So
And his ideology of it is beautiful, because he has said multiple times, because people complain, oh, this game is boring, or there's not enough to do, and this and that, and he's like, that's okay. Go find something else to play and wait for an update. I'm not asking you to keep playing this game. I'm not going to keep putting out stuff so that you feel the need to have to keep coming back. I want you to play Phasmo because it's fun. I'm going to keep putting stuff in here to improve this game in my vision. And when an update comes out, feel free to come back and play. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to just keep playing this.
it's not like
so-
WoW or some of the other games where it's like, we have dailies. We want you to log in literally every day. You have to be here. It is a job. Please clock in at 7 p.m. and clock out by 11, or something like that. Like,
Well,
Right.
and I feel like part of that is driven because of the cost of what their servers cost them now, and their staff
yeah.
is so massive. They got to be able to pay for everybody. And
I mean, I don't disagree with that, but you would think if you have a staff that size and you have a player demand that's that large, you should be putting out quality product instead of get on this treadmill.
Yes, like
I
you
don't
gotta
disagree
make
with
the
that, but
gameplay again. The loop has to be fun and like interactive. You don't want to have people feel the compulsion to do it. You want them to want to do it.
But you know what? There are going to be those people that like that grind. Like Destiny's a
true.
good example of that. Destiny 1 came out in 2014. Destiny 2 came out 3 years later in 2017. And everybody, the reason we didn't like Destiny, grind. It was like, why are we playing this game? Grind, 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 grind. They get to Destiny 2, and there were all these people from Destiny 1 goes, it doesn't feel the same. We liked the grind. And I'm like, you all are insane. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't figure out why people like the grind that much.
Because
like, I get it a little.
There are some gamers that play one game, and that was one of the things Chicken was talking about, because we had a discussion. Overwatch 2 announced their battle pass system and everything, where you unlock the new characters per battle pass, and if you miss them on the battle pass, you can unlock them in regular play. It's just going to take a lot longer, and it's because it's intended to be, this is for the people that only played this game. So the grind isn't a grind to them because it's the only thing they play. It's just what they do. So I guess that's the mentality, but I mean, most of us aren't going to be like, yeah, I need to put another 17 hours into Destiny so I can get a gun to drop that has a 1 point advantage over the one I have currently.
Min-maxers, man. Ooh.
I mean, it's the same thing with Fall Guys, where they're like, where you have to grind up to get some of the costumes in their pass, and it's like, that's cool and all, but
I don't really have 75 hours for that.
Yeah, I don't want to play the game that much. Like,
Their game's free to
fun
play
to hop
now, though,
in
isn't it?
and play
Yes, it is.
for a few hours every now and then with friends, but damn.
That's how Overwatch 2 is as well. Theirs is free to play, and then they have the battle pass, and you can buy coins to unlock some of the stuff on the battle pass, and things like that. Like, battle pass is the only thing anybody's doing.
If it's your only game, if it's your main game, a battle pass is not a problem at all. That's the thing, is that the battle pass breaks apart the community into casuals to hardcores. Like, if Overwatch is your only game that you play, because some people own like main game and that's it, the battle pass is nothing. Like, you will complete it easily each season. If you are a casual enjoyer, you are not going to get the perks that the people who play it every day are going to, and that's what people don't like. It's like, I want to be able to play casually and still get everything, and the other people are like, well, and then they're going to make a fuss about it.
I think that's what Sea of Thieves did really well, is when they introduced the battle pass, which I was totally anti them doing. I'm like, okay, they're kind of like every other game going out there. You don't have to buy it. There's still a battle pass of sorts that's there for all the people that are non-spenders, that are just casual players or whatever. If you wanted to pay the $10 for the battle pass, you can, and it gives you, and it's not on every tier. It's just like every 5th or 10th one, you get an extra that's added on there, and some of that pays back what you paid for the battle pass.
Yeah, I think that's what Overwatch is doing.
If you complete the battle pass, it gives you enough coins to buy the next battle pass. You have to complete the battle pass each season in order to pay for the next.
Right.
And I think I like Sea of Thieves better because they do it the opposite of what everybody else does. Is they give you everything every level for free, and then the paid one gives you special stuff. Whereas normal battle passes, you get something for free every so often, and if you pay, you get something every level. It's like, I like if you want your casuals to feel good, you want them to feel like every level they're getting something.
Reward me for playing the game, not for spending money.
Yeah.
Yes. Perfect. Like, that is exactly it. Like, make the battle pass accessible for everybody and feel like they're getting something. And for Overwatch, when you have so much sprays and random little shit that you can add in, you could fill up those things pretty easily.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. That's a weird thing that a lot of companies don't anticipate, is how are we going to get this thing to survive the first year before we start thinking about the next 5 years.
It's how do we monetize this when their game isn't even like solid yet? Yeah. It's like, make your game solid, get yourself a foundation like Sea of Thieves. Like, that was their goal, was to build a solid gameplay that people enjoyed. Hell, that was the whole thing. They were like, oh yeah, we're going to create a marketplace where you could buy stuff, but that's later. We want to make sure we get a good game out first, and then we'll worry about monetizing it
Oh, it
later.
took them over a year to get the marketplace out, or 2
Yeah,
I bet 2
yeah. It
years.
was. I think it was 2 years. Like they stuffed that game with so much content in the first year. They're like, okay, we need more people playing, and they're like, cool. And everyone's like, yeah, this is great. Where's the marketplace? We want to give you money, and they're like, hold on, we'll take your money later. We want to get more content out. It's
Right.
Yes.
like, okay, that's really
That's different.
rare, but
Oh, I see.
See what you did there.
Terrible.
But yeah,
Uh.
like that's why that game is still popular, is because the gameplay loop is fun, and Rare has done the right thing when it comes to monetizing their game.
I think a lot of these companies have looked at what Epic did with Fortnite and think that they could do the same.
Fortnite
And
is
then
just one
and
of those
because Call of
rare
Duty came
things.
in and kind of did the same thing with their VR as well. They're thinking, oh, it's totally possible for us to do this. And it's like, no, Call of Duty's a juggernaut. Fortnite was an anomaly that became a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yes.
a total different, two different things.
Again, one has history with a decent multiplayer game loop, and the other one had a really fun gameplay loop. Fortnite, like that loop, that people really enjoyed that loop because BRs were huge then, and this one had a building style to the BR. So everyone's like, yeah, this is really fun. And then they started fucking adding in all sorts of crazy shit, and it just kind of blew up into this
And
giant
now their
meme.
licensing is insane.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh, we've got Batman this week and Spider-Man this other week and Star Wars and, you know, whatever. Come unlock the thing. Dragon Ball Z is the big thing right now. So it's like,
Yeah,
got
I
all
know.
the Dragon Ball stuff. So,
No game
so you
is
got
free of bloat.
mhm.
Yeah, that is very true. Bloat is a serious problem in games these days.
Yep, definitely.
Well, that was a fun discussion.
Right. Want to go to just some news?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Call of Duty.
We did bring up Call of Duty.
Yeah, which is the big thing going on between Microsoft and Sony.
Sony's still bitching because, and I'm going to say it that way. And I've been playing a PS5 all week. So you come at me, try me. I'm telling
Come
you
at me,
now,
bro.
Sony's just a whiny baby. But Sony's mad still because Microsoft is going to be looking at buying Activision, of course. And that means Call of Duty. And they've already stated the fact they want to put it on Game Pass. So Sony's mad because of the fact that, oh my God, they're going to take it off of here. It does not matter how many times. Phil Spencer, they could, you know, pull freaking Bill Gates out of retirement and bring him back out and him say, it's not being taken off Sony PlayStation anytime soon. It's not going to happen because that's a juggernaut. That's something that we want our stuff on. But it doesn't matter. Sony's still
That's
going to
not what they're concerned about. They are concerned about that they are about to lose all of their special deals with Call of Duty because
100%.
you know that Call of Duty for years and years has had exclusive contracts and deals with Activision for special stuff on there, and it's all going away. So Microsoft is like, no, you're going to keep Call of Duty, okay? We're not taking it away. But you're not getting all the bells and whistles that you've been getting for the last fucking 15 years.
Yeah.
Okay? You're getting the normal version like everybody else. We're not even going to put a special version on our side either. Everyone's going to get the same of everything so they can choose where they want to play. And Sony's like, I don't like that. Give me my shinies. It's like, nope.
I think the best thing they could do on this, because if you have Game Pass, it's included as part of it, right? So
Yep.
essentially to anybody that already has Game Pass, it's free to you, right?
Yep.
But what I think they should do is every PlayStation game now is $70. I think they should release Call of Duty at 60. It'd just be like, here you go. Not only did we give it to you, we gave it to you cheaper than you're selling your own first party shit on your own platform.
That would be.
Oh, man.
Like, we're going to sell it at
fucking
60
rubbing
bucks.
salt in the wound.
Well, but I mean, it's
That's like
the
dipping
show.
the arm
We're playing the right way. I think Sony is, they have not done a good job, and we've stated this for years. They have not done a good job of adapting to the industry.
No.
They've not innovated in any way other than the fact that they were the first one on a console to put VR system, and their VR system is, which we'll talk about in a minute. Their new VR system, especially, is one of the top VRs out there. The way that it's being built, what it's offering the consumer. But when it comes to their actual what they need to do with their games and everything else, they're behind Microsoft when it comes to that. And they don't like it, because they're one of the top gaming companies in the world, and they've got this hate for Microsoft, even though they're using Microsoft's cloud system for their own stuff, but whatever. I think to me, it's just more wine, because we just dealt with this in what was a Brazilian court that we talked about a few weeks ago, that they were having the same argument, and now Phil's got to say the same thing again. We're not taking it off. We'd be stupid to do that. It's the largest platform Call of Duty's played on. Why would we take it off?
Why would we cut off that kind of revenue? Why?
Right.
Like, we're going to let you still have it, but we're not doing the exclusive deals. Okay, you're still getting it. But I guess Sony's afraid that if they don't have those exclusive deals, nobody's gonna make the choice to play it over there.
But,
Which I will be honest, it will cut their player base quite significantly, because if you have a PC or an Xbox, and you have a PlayStation, if you have an even choice across the board, a lot less people are gonna choose to play it on PlayStation, because you have other options. You can play it on your PC.
But I guess
if you have a PC with it.
The thing for PlayStation is you already have so many people that have their core friends group on PlayStation to play Call of Duty. They will continue to play it on that platform, because they're not going to go out and buy an Xbox or put together a gaming PC.
No, I'm talking about the people that are split across. Like if you have a PlayStation and a PC, or an Xbox and a PlayStation, or all three of them.
Yeah, but if all of your friends are still playing on PlayStation, you're probably still going to play there too.
Well, it won't matter anyway, because it's
cross-platform?
Yeah, it's cross-platform,
Okay.
and that's the thing. It's it doesn't matter anymore at that point, because you don't play on PlayStation to get the exclusives. There's no point to play for special things there. And if your friends have it on PC too, you can play it there. It's more of an option to play it wherever you want now. You're not kind of pigeonholed into playing it on PS5 or PlayStation anymore.
I need to play it on PlayStation, because it'll be here for 2 weeks before it gets to everybody else, or whatever it is that their exclusive stuff usually is.
They get the DLC stuff and the maps earlier.
Exactly. You don't get any of the special things anymore, and if everybody's on the even field, then more people will just be like, all right, cool, we can play on PC now. And the PS5s will just kind of the community will slowly, because I guarantee in this day and age, communities are not so strictly one placed.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so much to play in now. You got PC, or you got your PlayStations and things like that, because people don't necessarily play PlayStation for the multiplayer aspect. Their single players are incredible, and the multiplayers, they've got good choices too. But if there's no special
but their
reason,
multiplayer choices are the same as every other console. They don't have anything different. It's all multi-platform stuff.
At this point anyway, even with this current generation of consoles, people are moving more to PC gaming nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. They will usually have a PC and something else, and most of the time the something else will be a PlayStation, because you can play Xbox games on your PC.
Well, and I've got one of the friends that I was playing Call of Duty with, has actually bought an Xbox Series S, because can't get a PS5. Even though he was playing a PlayStation 4 before, he can't get a PS5, and he wanted to play Sea of Thieves so bad. And he's like, I can play everything else that I wanted to play on the Xbox. I just got to get used to the controller, and that's it. And I was like, welcome to the club, man.
Hell yeah.
Come in. It really doesn't matter. Welcome in. But at least you're out $300 or whatever the Series S is now. It's relatively cheap compared to the other consoles. So, you might as well just come in and be able to play the game. Now he can play Call of Duty when it comes out, and he'll just have to buy the external hard drive to be able to fit it on anything, because it's so large. Here's all 500 gig of your game.
Oh my god. It is absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, but it just Sony looks at it the wrong way and always has looked at it the wrong way. I like the way that Phil just comes back at it and go, look, we want our people to play everywhere. We don't care where they're playing. That's not important to us. And that's the reason I said I would market it $60. I would market it $60 on both platforms or all three platforms. We can count PC on that one. And just market it $60 and be like, here you go. You know, we're going to sell this to you cheaper than their first party shit, you know, but we'll see, I guess.
I was just looking at some of the comments, and it's a lot of people just arguing about whether or not Call of Duty will become exclusive to Xbox, Microsoft.
No, it will not. I feel like there is a very minuscule chance that they would go that route, but I feel like if Microsoft wants to keep its head on the right side, they will just be like, no, it's fine, just play wherever. The revenue is going to be massive, so what the hell is the point of creating exclusivity?
I think as long as Phil's there, it would never happen.
Yeah, like there's no point to it, in my opinion. At this point, like Sony is kind of like mine. They got their first party titles, cool. Even they're coming off of that. They're like, oh yeah, a year later, PC.
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft's like, fuck it, go at it wherever. I don't care. Whatever, do whatever you want.
Again,
I guarantee.
Software company. It's the difference in mentality between a hardware company and a software company.
Mm-hmm.
Software says play our stuff wherever you want to. Hardware says play it on ours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a difference in mentality. You know, but one of the things that Sony has done as well, of course, like I said, they've got their new VR system that's coming out and getting rave reviews. Everybody that's played it has said this is the best VR system that they've played on, especially that it's playing on console, and that it's kind of going to change the game. But if you have any of the previous games from PS4 and you now have a PS5 that you're playing them on, keep it, because your old games are not going to work on the new systems.
Yeah, that just seems stupid to me. Like, you're not innovating so far as you can't put in the backwards compatibility. What you're doing is you're trying to force your players' hands to buy the game again when you remaster it for the new system.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, I mean they're just 100%. That is Nintendo with that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at it. So the Doom VR game is exclusive to PlayStation. You can't play it on anything else but PlayStation.
Doom Eternal?
No, the Doom VFR game. Oh. Like there was for the 2016 Doom, there was a VFR game for it as well. So that one's exclusive to them, and then Until Dawn's Rush of Blood, which is kind of their roller coaster style game, is also exclusive to them. That was really good as well. It just amazes me that they have so many games that are like exclusive, like in certain ways, or they'll have like, you know, you'll have No Man's Sky, which No Man's Sky you can play on PC or you can play it on PlayStation or you play it on Xbox, but it has a VR option on PlayStation, but only if you use the original. So maybe there's some type of update that's going to be available for games that are multi-platform like that'll allow it to work.
And for the record, Doom VFR is on Steam.
It is on Steam?
It is on Steam. I am dead up looking at it right now.
Okay, because they transferred that over because originally it was Xbox.
It's $15 right now with mixed reviews, and some people are not very happy.
Yeah, it was originally PlayStation only. So it was one of their timed exclusives, most likely. So, because I was mad about it, they did it because I wanted to play it. But yeah, I just find it weird because now you're sitting there with these discs, and you've got the old one that's you've had for 4 years and it's falling apart. You want to get a new one, but you got to keep the old one or buy a brand new version of the old one you've got before you buy this other one. So you're sitting there with two headsets to be able to play these games.
Some people, this person in the comment section said the new controllers have fewer buttons and you can't remap few buttons into more inputs for the older games. So your whole argument is that you took away buttons from the controller and that's the problem?
As far as I know, and I'm basing this off of watching the people play the actual system, I think the D-pad's the only thing missing.
Pretty sure you could probably remap that pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, you can't make a D-pad.
No, you
Yeah,
can't.
I don't think that's really the reason. I feel like that's somebody coming to a conclusion that's in the comment section and not necessarily reality. Unless they're like, well, I work for Sony and blah blah blah.
As someone else pointed out, if Sony had really wanted backwards compatibility, they could have mandated it, but they didn't because they can resell those remasters.
All you got to know is this, guys. PS3 to disc don't play in a PS4. That's all you got to know.
Yeah.
So are they really big on it or not?
It's crazy. Like, Sony wants to sit over there and do what Nintendo's doing with their remasters and all of their stuff, but we get after them so badly about it. And Nintendo's sitting over there doing the exact same thing, playing with their Play-Doh at their table, and no one is giving them shit about it. Which, to be fair, they do the exact same thing. I mean, they took games that failed on the Wii U and re-released them on the Switch, and, like, boom. So,
some of them didn't fail on the Wii U. It was more or less the system
Wii U
failed.
Yeah, Wii U failing.
But they re-released them in the exact same identical release. They're like, okay, cool, just remake it. For
I think the difference is, though, if you're going from
games, they just unfortunately, because so many people were like, oh, it's just the Wii with an accessory attached to it.
Right.
Oh,
true, but people who own the Wii U version didn't get a Switch version for free. There was no backwards compatibility or forwards or whatever. You still had to buy a new copy.
Because there's like 7 times the amount of people that own a Switch that own a Wii U.
That is very true.
Of course, they probably still would have been fine giving us free copies, but you know.
I will say that is one of the things that they did specifically from the Wii U to the Switch that they didn't do with some of the other ones. It's like they knew the Wii U failed. They're like, let's just re-release most of the catalog from the Wii U to the Switch because we know people are going to buy these games. They're good games. Nobody bought the Wii U to play these good games, though.
No, they definitely do the same thing, but I feel like with a lot of things, we give Nintendo a pass where we won't give the other 2 major companies a pass because they're Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's just something about Nintendo that we're like, oh look, cute stuff, and then we're like, you could do whatever you want, or you know, but their gameplay, you know, with few exceptions,
they don't
majority of the time their product's
games.
Completely finished when it's handed to us, and we're not going to complain about that.
Yeah, like they never release broken games or anything like that. Like their games are done. Like when you go to Nintendo, you get a fully baked 3-layered cake with everything on it. And then later on, they bring you the bowl of ice cream with sprinkles and everything on it too, and you're just like, "All right, I'll buy that."
I mean, unless there's some kind of multiplayer involved in it that, later on after release, like had something where it's like, "Oh, okay, we need to fix that because that's kind of an issue." I mean, yeah, all their games pretty much like work when they come out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, unless it's a balancing issue or like people finding a way to exploit something online and like maybe something they never thought about during testing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Nintendo gets a pass.
Yeah, Nintendo gets a pass.
That's why they get all my money.
They also don't re-release the like same fucking game like 6 times in a row like Sony does with Last of Us.
Right.
That's how they know selling you remasters is gonna work.
No, they'll just do okay, you know, here's your Mario Kart. Here's your Mario Kart with all the DLC. By the way, we're adding more DLC. By the way, here's all your Mario parties you've ever played.
Yeah, but I mean, like with the Mario Kart, it's DLC. It is new content for it. They're not doing, hey, here's Mario Kart again.
See, that's what's crazy is when they released
Mario
Mario
Kart 8. Well, it was the Wii U version of the game.
Yeah, when they released Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, they gave you all the DLC that came out originally on this version because it was the deluxe version.
And then charged you the same you paid for the original version, which was fine because I got the DLC with it.
Exactly. And then they released more DLC for it. It's like, holy shit. Okay, you just chalk so much into this. There's probably just going to be this Mario Kart for this entire generation of Nintendo console.
Probably.
I feel like that's what they're going to do for that and Smash Brothers. That's going to be that's just going to add on.
That's the new model of release.
Next Switch comes out, they'll do another Smash Brothers, and they'll add in everything that they have in now, and then work on new stuff afterwards.
Yep, and they'll link it to their subscription service too, like they did with Animal Crossing and Mario Kart and the 64 emulator on there. Like they lock a lot of they give you have to pay for a subscription service, but I think it's like $53 a year. But oh my god, you get like 4 consoles, access to a fuck ton of extras, and like a bunch of games. It's if you play Nintendo that much, it is easily one of the things that you want to get. It's like Xbox Game Pass. Like they have done well with their subscription service, like Microsoft has.
We have 3 consoles upstairs. We have a PS4 and Xbox One X, and then we've got the Switch. The kids only play the Switch. Like they want to play the new Disney game because it's on Game Pass. They want to play that one, and I got them started a little bit, but they went straight back to Switch. Like it was one of those where it's like I'd much rather go back and play the same Lego game 100 times, you know. And it's just. It's great. It's a good family atmosphere thing. What now?
I said I don't feel like you should judge them for that.
Says the one who plays the same games a million times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Says the one who we were watching a video of BioShock. She's like, that's not actually how the intro goes. It's separate. It's like this, and that's how it goes. And you see the city. And this is a poor rendition of that intro.
I didn't say it was a poor rendition. We were watching somebody play a VR mod for Half-Life Alyx that was supposed to be basically Alex going to Rapture, and it was supposed to be like pretty much a clone of the original game, but there's limitations because you're building it as a mod inside of another game, so there are things you can't do and things that don't work. But I was just pointing out to Chicken how it had changed.
Pointed out. That's wrong. That is wrong.
That's not right. That isn't. I mean, at some point when I finally go through and watch Sandman, I'm probably going to be doing that with between that and the comic. Going, oh, no, that's not right.
I read some of the comic part, and I could be like, that was wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. I don't know why they took that directional choice, but that's wrong.
That's the first time I watched Lord of the Rings with Dr. Booth. This was actually 50 years apart.
50 years since I've read it.
50 years apart?
Yeah, in the book it's 50 years apart, but in the thing, it just happened.
That's what happens when you're watching or you're consuming content with somebody that like is a big fan of a franchise or something, like a big fan of the original. You can't help yourself when you're like, oh, that's different. Oh, that's different. Oh, that's because it's like going on vacation and sightseeing, but then you're like, wait a minute, this isn't actually Hawaii. This is, Hawaii that somebody made in Texas, and that's different. That's different. And
that's why it's important to be able to separate mediums. Everybody have to separate mediums. You have to.
No. There's just certain ones you cannot separate, and for good fucking reason.
If somebody says this is a 1-to-1 remake from the comic to the show, and it doesn't end up being like that, then you are allowed to be upset. But if they say this is a creative choice of this comic, then they are going a different route than what is said and written specifically for the comic. That is how it always works.
And I think when you're going from print to video in any way whatsoever, even if you're translating that over to a video game, even though you'll have more content available to you, you're going to have some differences that are there. I think the problem we run into that we've talked about before from going to video games to like movies, television shows, stuff like that, is the fact that you're dealing with a video version of something and a video version of something. So you've seen a cutscene of this, you know what I mean? And now you're moving over. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a little different. And so that's what makes people upset.
And the perfect example of this is that the Last of Us show is supposed to be a 1-to-1 rendition of the game. That you can criticize if it is not parallel.
I'm going to be like, no, I didn't kill that guy first in that scene.
No, that's exactly what I was just thinking. I didn't hide there.
I threw
a bottle there. Why didn't they do that? This is 1-to-1, isn't it? Where's my
Watch.
I
playthrough?
can't believe
First
that
of all-
building's not supposed to be white. It's supposed to be yellow.
They're gonna take every game. They're gonna take every playthrough of the first Last of Us, every bit of information that everybody has ever played, and average it out and be like, this is what the averaged player did at that moment. They threw a bottle to the right. You may have been in the lower average of the wrong people and threw it
The
to the left.
wrong people.
But the good people threw it to the right. Okay, so this is canon. That bottle goes to the right. You're wrong for throwing it left.
You know, there are some games that keep track of the bigger choices and whatnot that you probably could do we pooled the data and this is what the most popular canon choices are, like something like Detroit Become Human, where every chapter it gives you a breakdown and like global stats.
Mass Effect games were like that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. Like 75% of most of the Telltale games are like that. 75% of people did this. It's like, well,
Not
Yeah,
75% of the people. I'm sorry.
75% of the people did this. That's canon. All right.
What
But
made it
what if
canon?
it's
You go.
exactly 50-50?
well,
Then
I've
you
seen
wait.
that.
Yeah, then you wait till the next person plays, and whatever they choose is canon.
They don't even know they're a tiebreaker. Like, there's no
Nope.
pressure on them at all, and they make the wrong choice, and they're like, oops, oh
Then-
well.
then a
And
week-
then, like, oh
A
no.
week later into it, so someone comes in and does the other thing of it, and it goes back to 50-50.
And then you gotta wait till the next person.
Ah.
They go, this is canon as of this date. Anything past this date does not count towards this creation of the movie.
There you go. Oh, man.
Uh,
Talk about
last thing we got on the list, which is relatively big news when it comes to the PC gaming world. EVGA has decided that they are completely killing their partnership with Nvidia and no longer going to be making any type of graphic card past the 30 series. They're currently still doing the 30 series, still going to support it, do everything, but this is their last set of anything. So when I guess people stop buying 30 series, they'll no longer be building anymore. Currently, the graphics card division of EVGA accounts for 75% of their income. So that's a hell of a thing to eliminate. And so they're not going to do the 40 series. They did have some demos of the 40 series, but they have decided to terminate dealing with EVGA. Dealing with Nvidia. EVGA and other companies like them have complained in the past how hard it is to deal with Nvidia. Watching some of the videos on this and some of the people that are kind of in the know, it's very difficult to build for them because they have certain protocols you have to follow and you cannot vary from those protocols. So like if you're like, oh, I want to make a double stacked 3090, they're like, nope, you can't do that. You can do one and that's it. And you can't add extra processing into it or anything like that different than anybody else's. So it's very cookie cutter. So they were very difficult to deal with in that respect. Also, from what I've gotten from a couple of the videos I've watched, it's also one of those times, sometimes the press knows when these cards are going to be released before the actual manufacturers of cards do. So try running a business knowing that the world's going to find out that you're releasing something before you even know you're releasing something. So I kind of want to say good for EVGA on this one. Because like if Nvidia's being dicks about this,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, I don't
like
disagree
and
with that.
Nvidia's being shady anyway because they kind of bumped their stock numbers up and stuff because of the crypto stuff that was going on, and they could have held back on the crypto stuff, but they chose not to. And then when the crash happened, they weren't ordering as many cards afterwards because they knew they kind of had an idea the crash was going to happen, which is why all the prices are down back to where they should be for the 30 series. So if EVGA can continue to make money off of this, then they can probably transition into something else. And I wouldn't be surprised if they use the money to start their own like actually compete with Nvidia. I would not be surprised whatsoever. Just to piss them off. But
It would not be surprising. I mean, they've been building graphics cards for a while, so you can only imagine.
yeah, I mean, they've got to have some type of idea on how the technology works. They would have to do it in a way that wouldn't be they wouldn't be able to say that they copyrighted their stuff. So, or infringed on their copyright. But, so if you're looking for a 40 series, you're not going to get an EVGA, just so you know, when they come out.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're anything like the 30 series, you're going to need a bigger box. Because they're already massive.
You don't
The
say.
30 series are huge. So if you have an ATX box, it's like, good luck. Just, you have to fit it in the right way. But if you wanted a 3090, you're going to need a new box.
I'm pretty sure ours has room.
Yeah.
I saw Chicken looking. I was like, he's trying to figure out. I think, especially yours, like your case is bigger than mine, I think.
No, we got the same case. We both got
Same
the massive,
size.
the big cases.
Yeah, I want to say the 3080 I've got is like 2 or 3 inches longer than the 20 series.
Could probably still fit that in there.
Yeah.
That'd definitely be workable.
Like without looking at the 20 series, I couldn't tell you, but I want to say that's about right. Like I had to move something else in
My Cooler Master
case
is
to get the
this
fit.
fucking big. Like literally, it's
Giant.
probably half the size of my head. Which I built this thing 5 years ago, which means it's almost, because the 1070s were just the last generation. They just released the 2000s when we got the 1070, and it's an EVGA 1070. So.
Well, I almost got an EVGA for my 3080, and I decided not to because the prices had gone back up on them, and I went back with the gigabit, which was the same one that I was replacing anyway. So I was like, I'll just go with that. And now I'm kind of sad I didn't get the EVGA just because. But the EVGA cards, if you remember when Cyberpunk came out, that was the 3080 that were frying.
Mm-hmm.
Was the
Yeah.
EVGA cards.
Yep.
So I don't know how much money they lost in that, but
Oof.
it is what it is, I guess. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I think that's it.
Woohoo! Welcome back, everybody.
Kind of a simple show, not too bad.
A nice
Worked out
little
all right.
back into
I
it
s-
kind of thing.
Yeah, I said a simple show, not a short show.
That's right at an hour. That's not too bad. So the discussion ended up being a good discussion too, and you didn't
Yeah.
even know it.
Yeah, see?
So
See?
Boom.
we appreciate everybody that hangs out with us each and every week at Infinite Respawn. As always, you can check us out on Twitter at InfiniteResPC. You can check me out personally at MDB Oaktree. You can check out Griff.
At Griff's Lineup.
Check out Chicken.
I'd elite chicken 313.
Check out Baca.
Baca Pickle.
Also, make sure you go to Griff's YouTube channel. There's all these videos there. I promise you. They're there. And there's like button. You hit the button and then you hit the other button. And if you do those, then when she goes and starts posting stuff again, hopefully during the fall and the winter time when she has time on her hands, then you'll get more stuff. So that'll be awesome. And then also make sure you go to twitch.tv/Elite Chicken 313. Chicken. We're getting close, Chicken.
Yeah, we are getting close. I gotta wait till things quiet down.
All right.
Fall doesn't start until for 3 more days.
3 more
Three
days.
more days.
Is the official
That
start of
is
fall.
Supposed to be
Sep-
95.
September 21st. Yeah, I know, right? Next Wednesday, or this Wednesday, is gonna be 97 degrees. But if you look at next week, it literally goes from 97 to 81.
Is that
Can we just have the 81? Like, can we just squish it? Like, just put it right there where it goes.
Yeah,
I
I know,
don't
right?
like the
It's like
95 degree.
91 to 95 for Monday to Friday this week, and then next week it's like 81 to like 80 all of next week. It's gonna be beautiful next week, but this week's
we had this-
miserable.
We had this tease of fall for just a little bit in the south. Fake falls, we call it. And then we get 90s coming up. Great.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
this Wednesday is 96 for the high. Next Wednesday's high is 83. So,
Yeah.
There you go.
you know, weather,
Lovely.
whatever. We just do what we want around here.
It's ridiculous. Also, make sure you go to twitch.tv/MDB Oaktree, where I am currently playing a lot of Icarus. So just hang out and watch me kill things. We're in a new area, I guess you're going to call it, and we're having a good time with it. So, but for Infinite Respawn, I'm Oaktree.
I'm Griff.
I'm chicken.
Baca.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
and try again.